about.
All right, so welcome to our next episode of the strategies that shape my trading journey, the next chapter. Now, before I start, can I get a raise of hand if my audio is audible? Kindly for me to check. Is it audible, my dears? All right, so I'm looking at familiar people who also attended, I think, the first episode. So I have a little poll with me. I hope this works. Okay. Okay. So can everybody type or vote? Okay. Were you able to attend on the first, or were you not? Or were you not there? Or is this your first time to attend or join? I'm just gonna get some demographics so that I know how to address the next chapter as well of our topic, as the strategies, or as I share the strategies that shape my trading journey. So I think most who are, so there's only one who voted. Can everyone see the screen? Okay. Okay, so there's one who voted. Yes. All right. So again, this is the second episode. Hold on. So this is the second episode of the webinar series titled Strategies That Shape My Trading Journey. And for today, we will discuss, sorry, I'm just going to hide some things. Okay. For today, we will discuss about day trading and scalping. Now, in the first episode, we discussed about swing trading, which is one of the easiest styles to master or to use in trading the Forex market. Now, in this chapter, we will discuss the strategies that is mostly popularly used by bloggers or full-time traders, mostly used by people who have the time to check and trade the market. We will both discuss the strategies I've used when I was a day trader and the strategies I've used when I was trying scalping as well as a beginner and an intermediate trader. Okay? So, okay. First and foremost, a big shout out to Erante. Visit the site at www.erante.com. Erante is an online broker committed to providing top-tier services and building lasting and trusting relationships with clients and partners. If you want to take your trading to a personal level, visit www.erante.com. Also, I would like to add this webinar are for educational purposes only. It's not a buy and sell advice, so please trade at your own risk. Whatever you will hear from me, please be subjective. As I've said in the first webinar, for me, trading is an art and science. It's an art because you have to be subjective on what you want to paint, on what you want to learn in the markets, and it's a science because you have to test everything and not apply what I'm about to teach you right away. There's a proper methodology into becoming a good trader, which I believe is you have to have your own research first, test what you have learned, and then conclude and then applying things in the market. Please trade at your own risk. Okay, this video is for educational purposes only. Okay, so if you're ready, can I get a hands up again? And we will start the webinar. Can I get a hands up? I hope I'm audible as well. All right. All right. So as promised, this is the webinar for day traders and scalpers, or those people who wants to learn about, or for those people who are trying to become day traders and scalpers. Um, I hope this episode will help you find out if you are a day trader or a scalper. And again, as I promised, I will share also some of the strategies I have used when I was a day trader and a scalper as I was beginning my trading journey as I was beginning my trading journey. All right. So let's start with day trading. Okay. Now, day trading are for full-time traders only. Now, I've heard a lot of or seen a lot of videos who are working in the day and day trading at night. Personally, it's all right, but then again, um, day trading takes a lot of time and mas mas demanding kumpara sa swing trading and position trading, because day trading requires you to watch the markets within the day. If you polish the skills of day trading, there will come to a time where you have to watch only a session of the day and trade only that part of the day. But in the beginning, you have to watch mostly the market the whole day. Okay, because number one, you're studying the move of the charts. Every chart in the forex market, especially on AUD, USD, and ZD, USD, all the common major pairs, most of them has their own DNAs. Okay, each of them has their own specific structure at may kanya-kanya yang ugali. That's why you have to watch them and you have to look at them from time to time, analyze what their behaviors are before even considering going to day trading. Okay, you have to have the ample time to watch the market, and as you progress as a day trader, that time that you are watching the market and as you are learning more about the market or the pair that you want to trade, that time will get lessened. Okay, that will make more sense as you are doing your back testing phase, but that's pretty much the general gist of what day trader is. So again, it's not for everybody. Again, it looks cool because most of the vlogs, and again, it was how I was hooked to before. I was watching some vlogs ng mga uh, day traders or full-time traders. Lagi akong nanonood dyan sa YouTube just to inspire myself. And they make money in a split second, or they make profits. But then again, it just looks cool, but again, it's a very hard trading style to master. Okay, but often the most rewarding because it's madami kang makikita na growth, or madami kang makikita na growth um, capabilities as you are observing the market day in and day out. Madami kang makikita na opportunities, madami ka ding makikita na um, in terms of learning about the market, madami kang matututunan. Lalo na if inaaral mo yung isang currency pair, two or three currency pairs, madami kang matututunan just by watching it and understanding its behavior. But then again, as I've said, it's for full-time traders. Okay, I've tried day trading with a job before, but for me, it didn't work because again, day trading is a demanding type of venture. And then may journaling pa, mag-journal ka pa ng trades, medyo, and ipapractice mo pa yung mga trades mo, medyo, again, it's a demanding thing, it needs to be done full time. Traders who are called day traders are fond of areas where momentums will occur. Meaning, most of the day traders are watching a potential support and resistance level and watch if those will hold, break, or retest. Usually those key areas for day traders, okay, those key areas for day traders are where demand and supply will come out. And those for me, I call them as momentum areas. So if price reaches certain support or price reaches a certain resistance, I expect a certain demand and supply movement, or strong demand and supply movement, or toggle if you are uh, if you are familiar with the tug of war. They try to fight on those levels. Okay. But then again, if you don't have the time to become a day trader or watch to when and where kung saan lalabas yung mga momentum areas na yan, better check or try other trading styles. Because for me, as I did before when I was studying day trading at the same time having a job, it didn't really work out. So I switched to another style, which is, as I've discussed on the first webinar, it was swing trading. And for this style, we will talk about the momentum strategy. Okay, this is from the book again of Jake Bernstein. I think the right or proper title ng strategy na to was the Powerful Momentum Strategy. I think yun ata yung ginamit niya. He got this strategy from watching a plane gathering its momentum paakyat, and he believed na kapag ang momentum daw ng isang stock, forex, or commodity, or of metal, if the price is going up, or if the price is creating its demand and creating higher highs and higher lows, the momentum indicator should do the same as well. So basically, the momentum indicator should be an indication that such movement to the upward direction is supported by a strong and in parallel momentum. So kapag umaakyat ang momentum, sabi ni Jake sa libro niya, if umaakyat ang momentum na indicator, actually MOM is a momentum indicator. If umaakyat ang MOM, or if umaakyat ang price, dapat umaakyat ang MOM. That's the normal behavior if you will look at it on the chart. So for example, let's go to the chart. Tanggalin ko muna para ibigay ko sa inyo yung step by step. Oh, by the way, if you will have any questions, please feel free to hit it on the question tab below, and we'll try to answer them later. So if I'm using this strategy, by the way, I always trade it. If I'm day trading before, I use it on the 30-minute time frame. This will be on all pairs, on all metals. I never use it on stocks, but again, I've used it on forex and on metals. So what I did is I went to the 30-minute time frame. Okay, in this one. Okay, wait, hold on. It will be on this one. Okay, on the 30-minute time frame, and then we pull out a MOM on the indicators tab. This one. Oh, by the way, this is the trading view of Erante. If you have a trading view account, you can just connect it with Arante, and you can trade using the trading view app as well. So again, I usually put the length into 28 since this is 30 minutes. I usually use it 28. And on the book of Jake Bernstein, he also used it on a 28. Okay. Just to explain how momentum indicator works, the level in here is the difference between the current price. So ito. So 0.0, sabi niya yung closing niya dito is 0.0677. So yung difference nito, 0.0, ulit, 0.60, sorry, 60677 less the price 28 days after. Okay, so bilang tayo. Anyway, ito lang gamitin natin. 28 candles, sorry. Ayan. Okay. Kung ano yung difference nitong candle na to at yung candle na to should be the value of the blue line. This one. So 0.67 or 0.00767. So ganun kinocompute yung momentum indicator. And as I've said kanina, ang paniwala ni Jake Bernstein is if momentum goes up, or just like this one, if the momentum or if the price is falling down, okay, if the price is falling down, just like this one, the momentum should also drop similarly. It's if the price is going down, the momentum should also go down. Similarly, if the price is going up, so I'm gonna look for an example. This one, it's like this one. If the price is going up, such as this one, so as you can see here, the price is going up, creating higher highs and higher lows. The momentum should also go up. Okay. Similarly, on how you use RSI, but the computation on MOM is much simpler than on RSI, because you have to, I think you have to divide it by 100, because RSI is bound with a 0 to 100 range. This one is not bound on 0 to 100. Okay, but anyway, okay. The simple explanation on how Jake Bernstein also described how to use momentum indicator is, if ang MOM is greater than 0, it's an uptrend, meaning it's creating higher highs and it's creating higher lows. Okay. If momentum is less than 0, it's considered to be a downtrend. Okay, meaning it's creating lower lows and lower highs. Okay. Similarly to this, again, as you can see here, I'm gonna put a horizontal line in here. I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna put a horizontal line. Let's make it color mink, and let's put it on the coordinates of 0. Oh, the color change. Put it color pink. And okay, so this one. If it's below, as Jake Bernstein mentioned in his book, if it's greater than 0, it's an uptrend. Okay. If it's less than 0, it's a downtrend. Okay. We're gonna look for some examples in this area right here. So as you can see here, after the price reach, or as the price reach 0 level, okay, I'm gonna remove this one. Okay, as the price reach 0 level, oh no, what did I click? Okay, so price reach 0 level, nagkaroon siya ng downtrend. Now, I'm not saying that if it breaks below 0, it's gonna go downtrend. But it's a good practice na i-consider that it might, or it will, but that supply will potentially come stronger, making the charts create higher lows, lower lows and lower highs. Okay, or better yet, if you can see that the momentum is on below the 0, then we can consider that such currency is on a downtrend. Okay? Akin dati, while I was using this, ganito ko siya ginagamit. So if it's trading above 0, I consider it as an uptrend. Unfortunately, there is no signal or no sign for if you'll use momentum indicator to consider it as a sideways. Ang nakalagay lang sa book ni Jake Bernstein was a uptrend and downtrend. So I don't know if he has a termination for a sideways, but then again, that's how he interpret it. Now, the momentum strategy is a strategy that calculates and measures the momentum of a particular move. If applied properly or used properly, okay, it helps you figure out when the supply will turn to a demand, or the demand will turn to a supply, also known as a reversal of trend. Okay, as I've said, the normal usage is for you to interpret the chart. If above zero, it's an uptrend. If below zero, then it's a downtrend. But are you familiar with this? Okay, are you familiar with this? If the momentum, as I've said kanina, if the price is going higher, the momentum should also get higher. If the price drops, the momentum should also drop. That's the normal behavior. Okay. Now, I know some of you already know about this one. Okay. Also known as divergences. Because as Jake also described, such abnormalities will create, or such abnormalities in the market will help you figure out that the price that is slowly going up is now trying to slow down, also known as losing its momentum. Okay, there's a part, as he described it or exampled it, in a plane. There's a point in time where the plane gathered already its momentum and it's now trying to flat out. Okay, nag-stabilize na siya doon sa taas. Okay, and there will come a time when the price or the plane needs to go down and descend. Okay, kasi it's not, ang plane naman or an airplane naman, hindi naman yan dire-diretso hanggang outer space, di ba? Hindi naman aakyat yan ng aakyat. At the same time, hindi din yan lilipad hanggang sa walang hanggan, di ba? There will come a time that it will descend. In his example, he used the airplane as well. Similar to price, there will come a time when the price is still going up, but it's now losing its steam. Okay, it's losing its momentum. So he termed this as divergence, which is again very familiar if you are using RSI, MACD. In this case, we will also use divergence on the momentum indicator, meaning if the price is going up but the momentum is slowing down or moving downwards, it's what you call a bearish divergence. If the if the price is going down, however, the momentum is going up, it's now creating a bullish divergence. Okay? Bearish divergence meaning there's a potential that the buyers or the demand will get tired, or the demand will get, parang mauubos siya, parang ganon, and the supply will now start to get thickened, okay, or dadami. Okay? At the same time, bullish divergences are where demand comes in. Okay, meaning the price is now losing its momentum as it goes down, and it's now creating momentum to wait for a demand to come in. Okay? For example, I'm gonna look for some examples. Okay. Too many drawings. Okay. For example, let's go to NZD. NZD is very fond of divergences. Okay. For example, so you can see here from this level, okay, up to this level, okay, the price went down. Okay, I'm gonna add some vertical lines. Okay, I hope it's clear. As you can see here, ayan. Okay, dito siya. As you can see here, from this level hanggang dito na level, as you can see, the price went down. At the same time, momentum also went down, right? However, from this level to this level, something went wrong, meaning this one still went down. The other one went up. You can see. Yan. Slapit natin. Ano? This one is down. The other one went up. Balik tayo sa ating example a while ago. This is a potential bullish divergence. As I was using this strategy before, what I was waiting is a breakout of the highest point of the divergence. Meaning, if this one breaks out, or if this momentum breaks out, okay, which is particularly in this candle, I will expect some demand to rise, okay, or expect that there might be an opportunity that demand will rise. Meaning, or as I've said a while ago, bumabagal kasi yung momentum niya na dapat bumabagsak. Dapat this one, as it's creating lower lows and lower highs, the momentum at the same time is also has also a strength of momentum na bumababa at bumababa. Dito na part parang napagod. Okay, napagod yung presyo ng pagbagsak. The price is still going down, but the momentum is rising. Okay? Hence, the bullish divergence. During that time that the momentum breaks, so the highest point of the momentum breaks, okay, I expected demand. Okay, or we expected demand. So in this case, makyat ba? Ayun, makyat. And it formed another divergence over, wala na. Dito pala. Dito. There. To there. See the difference? This one is going lower, this one's going lower. This one should be lower, but this one went higher. See? In this case, pwedeng I will expect some demand over here. This part. Okay? And waited for the reversal. Okay? Let's look for a potential bearish. So there's also this one. So you can see here, okay, it's still going up, right? It's still going up. Look at what's happening with the momentum. I'm gonna move this one. The price is going up. Okay, you can see the price is going up. The momentum is London Bridge. Okay, it's falling down. Okay, that's why we are expecting a potential supply, okay, to come in because it's losing steam. Okay, another example. I want to get a good example. This one. Okay, let's go with gold. Oh, where did my momentum go? Okay, this one. So you can see here. Okay, so you can see here, momentum is falling, right? Momentum is falling. Sorry, price is falling, I should say. Nahuhulog yung price. Okay, it's creating lower lows, lower low, lower low. Okay? Saan ba yung aking mahiwagang brush? This one. Okay? So you can see, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower high. Okay? Lower high, lower high, lower high. But on this level, starting from here to here, there was a higher low and a higher high. But on this part, it's still a lower low and a lower high. As I've said, we'll expect some demand to come in if there is a breakout of that momentum level or the highest point of that momentum. So basically around here. After it breaks out on this level, okay, expect a certain demand, okay, or I expect a certain demand, okay, hence the move, okay. So again, it's as I've said a while ago, okay, you have to wait for the market. Again, not all currencies will act the same. That's why you have to watch for the currency and study the currency, because some currencies will create multiple divergences, meaning it will create higher highs and higher lows, but the momentum is still falling down, just like what I've showed you a while ago. So this one, the momentum is still going up, but the price is still going up, but the momentum is falling down. But the price is not yet falling down. Okay, there are currencies such as NZD that will act like this. Okay, may mga currency din na dalawa lang, okay, or in the certain part na nagkaroon na siya ng higher high and higher low, bigla na rin siyang bumabagsak. Okay, or supply will come in. Okay, after it reach a certain resistance. Okay, that's why if I'm using momentum strategy, I always partner it with a certain subjective drawings of support and resistances. For example, on this one, it's around here. Sorry, wrong drawing. Should be around here. I think there's a historical resistance to this. But anyways, okay. So in here. So I will only look for a divergence potential of a MOM strategy after it reaches its level at on a resistance. Similarly, on a bullish divergence, I will also look for a certain support area. Okay. So after it breaks momentum here, and we'll expect some demand over here, we can also play it, okay, or we can also expect some demand near the support again. Okay, not on the breakout level. Okay, again, it will vary for each situation and it will vary for each currency. That's why backtesting this specific strategy and learning how you can combine things with the momentum strategy and not use it alone, because one of the factors or the mistakes that I've did before is I use it alone. Okay, it should not be used alone. It should be partnered with drawings of support and resistances, say Darvas boxes, or if you want to use moving averages, you can combine it with this, but do not use it alone. This is just an indicator, meaning it's just a support, okay, a support in analyzing the chart. For example, you can drive a car without a side mirror, but it will be a difficult drive. Okay, relating to charts, you can trade with just price alone. It's very common. Okay, but again, it will be hard because there are inventions such as nowadays as indicators, and thank God there's now algorithm trading and AI trading. So things are much easier now compared to before. That's why if you're using momentum strategy, I suggest you pair it with support and resistances, moving averages. It will depend on you. Okay? I hope I was able to cover up the day trading strategy. Okay? On the other hand, we have what we call the scalpers. Now, the big difference of day trading or day traders and scalpers is day traders are mostly for growth of portfolio. Okay, scalpers on the other hand are more of they make money, okay, but such money is being used for day-to-day expenses. Okay, in Tagalog ang tawag sa kanila is chupiteros. Okay? Meaning, chumuchupit lang sila sa merkado. Okay? They trade for a few hours within the day, and whatever they will gain, they make, they withdraw and spend the money. Okay? For me, that's a big difference of scalpers and day traders. Day traders, they do this for a living, and they watch their portfolios grow over time. Okay, so they're compounding their portfolios over time. Scalpers, on the other hand, are more of buy now, sell after a few hours. Okay, and then whatever was the result can be an addition or deduction to the portfolio, something like that. That's why most scalpers that I personally know are traders who have a huge fund, okay, very huge funds. And this is an example on my previous job. I saw some scalpers there, which again are very good scalpers, but they're in the stock market and not in the forex market. At the same time, this one of the big difference also ng scalper and day trading is that day trading day trading takes the whole day, and scalpers takes around half of the day. Okay, they only focus on certain hours of the day. Nagfo-focus lang sila sa mga certain time zones ng forex market, whether in Asia, New York, or the London. Nakadepende sa pair na trade nila. Okay, again, for me personally, scalping is not for growth. I've backtested a lot of scalping trading systems. At the same time, I've backtested day trading systems, and the growth performance of both styles are very different. Okay, it's very, very different. But anyways, the similarity between a scalper and a day trader is they're very fond of momentums. If there's a burst in price, nandiyan yung dalawang yan. One more is that day traders are for fast thinkers, but you have a little bit of time to decide. Scalpers, it really takes time to, or it really demands fast executions and fast thinking abilities. You must have a tool for risk management, a very good trading psychology for scalping. Okay, hindi pwede na scalper ka tapos, should I do this? Should I do that? It will be it will not be a good practice. Okay, it should be at least you should be a very fast thinker or fast executioner. That's why most na AI or algorithm trading ngayon are mainly focused on scalping. Okay, I've never seen yet a swing trading. I might be wrong, but I've never seen a swing trading type of an AI. I mostly encounter yung mga mabibilis, okay, or scalping AI tools. Okay. Personally, if you do it manually as well, it's actually the same because dapat mabilis kang mag-compute ng risk, dapat mabilis kang mag-position size, mabilis kang mag-enter, mabilis ka dapat tumingin ng bid and ask that is moving. The spreads, you should also keep in mind. And again, should be fast execution, fast thinking, because you're trading in a lower time frame, preferably in a 5-minute or in 3 and 1 minute time frame pag scalping ka. And again, I don't recommend no. Pwede din naman. Anyway, for me, scalping is more of an advanced level of trading. Okay. It's for the advanced. If you're a beginner, stick to others like swing and position trading, and use that ample time to learn more about the market and work your way out or work your way up. Okay, so for me, what I did is swing trading, then position trading, then I transitioned to swing, then I transition to day trading, and then sometimes I go to scalping. Okay, but again, it will differ. It's up to you. Okay, for this one, we will use the Trima. Actually, this is not the right title of this strategy, but again, I like abbreviations, so I name it as Trima. It came from Andrew Lockwood. Okay, uh, it's supposed to be uh, the strategy is using 3 moving averages, okay, which is riding the swing of a trade in a smaller time frame. So parang swing trading scalping movement siya. Okay? And again, we will use exponential moving average this time. Instead of simple moving averages, we will use EMAs such as the 8, 13, and 21. Okay? And the originator of this one is famously known as Andrew Lockwood. And here is how he used it. Okay, let's visit some charts. So again, let's delete this one muna. And this is how I understand it. First, you have to pull out 3 exponential moving averages. So just like this one. Again, the idea is riding the fast swing trade in a smaller time frame. That's why we will use 2 time frames. So one as an alpha time frame, meaning to check the trend, okay, it should be on a higher time frame. For executions, it should be on a lower time frame. Okay? So in this case, okay, I'm trying to put the indicators. So for the first one, we'll go with 21. And let's make this one red. The second one is yellow, which will make us 13. And the last one should be, or let's make it as 8. All right? Yeah, 8. And then at green. Okay, I'm gonna use double panels on this one. Okay, and I'm gonna hide this one so that you won't be confused. Okay, let's delete this and add indicators in here as well. Okay, so it's 3. In here, let's make this one red. Make this one 21. The other one is 13. Let's make this one yellow. And the last one is 8. And let's make this one green. Okay, but this one should be on the 1 hour time frame. And this one should be, okay, the time should not be in sync. Okay, this one should be on the 15-minute time frame. So, okay, the left one, okay, the left one should be our execution tab or our smaller time frame executions. Okay, and this one is for trends, the one on the right. Okay, so let's sync both tabs. Where is that? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, okay. So the idea is for an uptrend, okay, the 1 hour time frame should align as 8, 13, and 21. If it's aligned this way and the price is trading above the moving averages, it's considered to be an uptrend. Okay? Pag baliktad naman, let's say this one, ano tayo? This one. Pag ganito naman, okay, the green is below, the middle one is 13, and the one on top is, excuse me, the one on top is 21, okay, it should be considered as a downtrend. That's how Andrew Lockwood described it. Okay? So, what we're waiting for the downtrend, so let's start with the downtrend. What we're waiting for the downtrend, okay, and I'm gonna replace some bars such as this one here. Okay. Okay. You can see I'm gonna put some line over here. Okay, so in this level, this is on the candle wherein the three of the moving averages align. So 8, 13, and 21. So this is considered as a downtrend. On the smaller time frame, okay, we shall await for a touch, okay, or a retracement towards the moving average. Okay, there should be a retracement towards the moving average. Okay, so let's wait for a retracement towards the moving average on the smaller time frame. Again, this is on the, let's wait. Again, wrong. It should be on the 5-minute time frame, not 15 minutes. Oh, sorry. You can use it on the 15 minutes, but I preferably use it on the 5-minute. Okay, it's much faster. So in this case, let's bring it back a bit. Again, this is the candle, or this is when the 1 hour started. Okay. We're waiting for a touch inside of the moving average. Okay, so this touch is what we call the trigger bar. The trigger bar is a bar, okay, wherein you start counting from right to left. And whatever is the lowest part of that bar, okay, or the lowest of the low of that bar should be considered as our breakdown level. Okay, or in this case, let's count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this case, ito po yung lowest point. Ito. Ay, yan. Okay? This is what we call a level wherein if a breakdown or if such level will have a breakdown, magkakaroon ng surge of supply or expected that there is a supply or surge of supply in this level, meaning it will or it might, okay, create a stronger downside movement. So basically, this strategy is a breakdown breakout strategy. Normally, it's being used by deducting 3 pips on the low of this one, but I use it as is. And let's wait if it will work. Here, there is a breakdown on this level. Okay? Again, such level or if nagkaroon na tayo ng breakdown dyan, expect that there is a potential supply coming in. Okay? In this case, did it happen? And it went down even further. Okay? Simple like that. Okay. Let's try it on the longer or on the uptrend trade naman. Don't worry, I'll give you more examples as we move forward. Hanap tayo dito na part. I think pwede naman na dito. Ayan. So as you can see here, okay. So as you can see here na part, ayan, dito sa level na to, nagkaroon tayo ng breakout. Okay, so I'm gonna put my replay over here. Okay, so in this candle, okay, we close a trade or we close a candle above the moving average of the 8, 13, and 21. As I've described a while ago, if the price is above and it's aligned that way, it's an uptrend. Okay. Starting on the next candle, so in this candle, which is still blank on the left side, okay, nagkaroon tayo or we'll wait for a touch, okay, which happened on this candle. This is now considered as the trigger bar. Okay, and what we're waiting for, or the use of the trigger bar, is where you start counting from right to left, and whichever is the high or the highest part of that candle is where we will consider a breakout zone. And if such zone breaks out, then expect a certain demand to come in, or we expect certain demand to come in. So in this case, okay, let's wait. Oh, by the way, there's a key rule in this trading strategy. If, for example, the price did not reach the breakout part, okay, or the breakout line, and the price closed in opposition to the trend. So, kunwari, itong candle na to, nag-trade or nag-close below nung 21, it's a null trade. Meaning, you have to delete the breakout candle because it might not continue its momentum. The idea is it should stay above the 21 moving average on the smaller time frame before it breaks out, or before it breaks out. If nagkaroon siya ng breakdown below ng moving average na to, okay, and the price did not break out yet, tapos nag-trade na siya below ng moving average 21, consider that particular setup null and void. Okay, meaning it won't be a potentially good move or potentially strong uptrend move. Okay, so in this case, it broke out and it broke out even further. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say, for example, it's still on an uptrend, right? Okay, it's trading on an uptrend. Okay, let's say in this level, it's trading on an uptrend, and we have this candle, for example, as our potential trigger bar. Let's say we missed the first move. Okay, and this is our trigger bar. So again, let's start from the trigger bar from right to left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the highest part was this one. Okay, now if this happens, as you can see, okay, it closed below the moving average. This breakout level will be null and void. And what we'll wait for is a trade or a candle, I should say, above the moving average, again, aligned in the perfect way with the 8 above, 13, and 21, such as this one. And then wait for another trigger candle again. Meaning, we have to start again from right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meaning this will be our new breakout level instead of this one. Okay, we cannot consider this one because it was null and void over here. That's why we have to wait for an alignment again, just like this one, a touch again of the moving average, and wait for a breakout. Such as, oh, for example, this one, right? This one, it went null and void before that one happened. It went null and void. So you have to delete this one and wait for a candle closing above the moving averages. Okay, and then wait for a touch, such as this one. So this will be our trigger candle again, and count 5 candles to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is still the new breakout level. Again, you have to consider nulls and voids, okay? Because the breakout level or the trigger level where you can expect some demand to surge might change from time to time. Okay, magbabago at magbabago kasi yan. Kaya nga dapat nagko-consider kayo ng null. If hindi nyo kasi i-consider yan, baka nag-aantay kayo sa tuktok pero naging downtrend na. Okay, or ina-expect nyo pa rin na maging breakout level yon kahit hindi na. Okay? You have to watch for null trades on the lower time frame, such as this one. Okay? Okay? Delete continue, parang hindi. Ayan, naging kwan na siya sideways. Anyway, let's wait for one more. Ayan. Wait tayo. So, saan kandala mo to? So, dito. Okay. Ayan o, nag-align, right? Nag-align na. Yung 8, 13, and 21. Let's wait for a trigger candle. Shall we have one? Ayun. Meron tayong onte dito. Let's count. 5 candles to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sabi niya, this is the highest level. So it created a breakout on this candle. So we expect some surge of demand there. Did it happen? Yes, it did. Okay. That's around how many pips? 19 pips. Decent enough for a scalping trade for over 24 bars or 2 hours of trade. 19 pips. Okay. So again, day trading and scalping are two very different styles of trading. Okay. The one is faster and needs fast executions and trades. Okay. The other hand, it's built for growth. However, both are still a demanding style. You have to at least have the time to learn about the markets, time to monitor about the markets, journal what you have learned, research what you are trying to perfect, such as your trading strategy, and then before applying it in the market. Okay, you cannot be a day trader right away. Meaning, as a beginner, magiging trader ka agad. Pwede yon, pero magiging mahirap yon. Okay? If you don't have time to trade, monitor, or learn about day trading and scalping, don't even consider both strategies. But if you're like me, who have a lot of time, let's say during weekends, you have time over the holidays, or let's say in a vacation, or you're a full-time trader just like me, it's one of the best styles that you could ever learn. Because for me personally, day trading is the fastest growth in style, but often the most riskiest as well. So there are advantages and disadvantages to this. It's the fastest one, but at the same time, it's the riskiest one. At the same time, scalping is also the fastest one. At the same time, they're a very hard to master one because, again, it's very, very fast. Okay, mabilis po yan. There's a lot of thinking and fast executions involved. That's why if you don't if you don't have the time, mga pre, wag nyo na pong i-consider. If you have the time, be my guest. Okay? For the next webinar, we will try to wrap it all together. Okay, and we'll try to wrap up the whole webinar itself. Okay, and we'll discover also the strategies that I've used from Reiner Teo. And one of the most fundamental things that you'll need as a trader will be discussed next meeting, and it will be on Friday, 7 p.m. I'll also post a link, and I'll also post link in regards to the next webinar next week. Okay. If you have any questions, you can personally ask me directly or message a chat on Erante support. Don't worry, I'll be there as well. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. I hope madami kayong natutunan for tonight. And let's wrap it all up on our next meeting on Friday. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed our webinar. Good night.